Hi, I'm Lucas, master degree student here at Wageningen University Research, and welcome to Green Economy Vlog. How can businesses in agri-food sector reduce carbon emissions and become more resilient in coping with the consequences of climate change? Wageningen Economic Research offers businesses 5 concrete steps to become carbon neutral and climate resilient. Food processing companies, agri-food traders, and food retail businesses are reliant on purchase of milk, vegetables, fruits, other raw materials such as cacao, coffee, and palm oil. They know better than anybody else that the climate change can disrupt uh, their stable supply chain of their raw materials. To stay ahead of the competition, they need to adapt to climate change, to be resilient in the face of increasing temperatures, more frequent heavy rainfalls, and longer period of drought, all of which seriously affects farm production. When analyzing the production value chains, it becomes visible that the highest emissions are not where the managers usually expect. Therefore, before taking action, it is crucial to see the whole system and its emissions. Wageningen Economic Research uses a sustainability management cycle model, which you can see over here, which consists of 5 concrete steps to help companies to become climate smart in agri-food sector. Success most of the times comes from preparation. Therefore, at first, a complete picture of the supply chain is made. It helps to discover and understand where the main hotspots of carbon emissions are. According to that, the measurements to keep track of emissions are created, and based on the measurements, identification of the main drivers in the value chain are spotted. Although it all sounds rather theoretical, so let's see a few examples. In dairy farms, methane emissions from cows are the core drivers. In the businesses which purchases palm oil, main problem occurs due to deforestation, because more land is brought into the production for palm trees. It is important to understand potential consequences of climate change, to create scenarios for future, spot the risk, and convert them to monetary terms. Eventually, it is not only about risk management, it may create new market opportunities. The next step is to create a plan to become carbon neutral and climate resilient. Before measures are implemented, researchers use an impact forecast to estimate the effect on carbon emissions, the costs and benefits, and the support for the measures. Carbon neutral production cannot usually be achieved just by limiting the emissions. It also requires compensation, for instance, through reforestation or other carbon storage measures. To determine whether the measures are effective, targeted monitoring is necessary from start to finish. Monitoring begins when the strategy is formed and continues during implementation. For each measure, indicators are chosen that are quantifiable and that tell you something about the measures that a business can take within a reasonable amount of time. Business should always evaluate what they do and what they change. Only then you can know if you make progress to become climate smart business and if your measures are effective. Researchers can also help partnerships within the supply chain become more climate resilient and safeguard the supply of high-quality agri-food products. The government has a role to play in ensuring climate resilience in the long term as well. For instance, by encouraging collaborations in supply chain, by introducing a carbon tax, or by starting soil health improvement programs, which can mitigate the consequences of both drought and too much water, or stimulation of the development of improved plant varieties that are better able to cope with the effects of climate change. The final step is an evaluation of your actions and what kind of impact it resulted. What effect have the measures had and what can be improved? Usually, it often appears that expectations have not been met, which is not a problem as long as you are keen to learn from this. In this sense, the final step is also the first step. It's a continuous iterative circle. Thank you for watching. The sources can be found in the description below, and see you next time.